Hello, everyone, and welcome. We've been doing a series of lessons involving management, and so this particular lesson talks about quality management. So, what is quality management? This really is the way that companies build and even sometimes rebuild trust. So we're going to talk about a crisis of quality, give it a little story in this particular lesson. And we are going to talk about Toyota. So imagine a company that has been famous for its reliability. Now, suddenly, they are facing a $1 billion recall. So we're going to explore the story of Toyota's unintended acceleration incident. But first off, let's talk about the big umbrella of quality. So when we talked about quality management is the big umbrella for monitoring all functions and activities within an organization to ensure excellence and consistency. It really involves three things. There's quality management itself, and then going along with that is quality assurance and quality control. We're going to talk a little bit further about these later on. It's really not just about the final product. It is the entire system for building and maintaining customer trust. All right, so let's take a look at this case study. In this case, it was a failure in quality. So we're talking about this crisis that Toyota came across. Okay, it was a pedal issue. It all started back in Southlake, Texas in October of 2009. It involved a 2007 Toyota Camry that was driven by a high profile businessman in Southlake, and his car suddenly and rapidly accelerated while he was trying to break into his driveway. The car crashed through a wall and into a swimming pool, tragically resulting in the death of the driver's son, who was a passenger. And so this started widespread reports where vehicles accelerated suddenly and without driver input. This phenomenon was known as an unintended acceleration. And so from 2009 to 2011, Toyota recalled millions of cars for this unintended acceleration. The cause was mechanical. There were sticking pedals and floor mats. This was a massive failure of both QA in the design of the parts and QC detecting the flaw before it was widespread. Again, we're going to talk a little bit more about this as we go. Okay, so here are the two guards, QA and QC. So what are they? So QA, or quality assurance, this is the prevention plan. This is being proactive in your quality control. It focuses on the process. It's about designing a system to prevent errors from happening in the first place. It could involve writing training manuals, auditing suppliers, creating safety checklists. In the case of Toyota, the poor design of the accelerator pedal, the pedal component, and the lack of proper engineering between the pedal and the floor mats, these issues should have been prevented during the design phase of the Toyota vehicles. The other one is quality control, QC, quality control. This is the inspection team, okay, reactive. This is reactive. So it focuses more on the product. It's about finding errors in the finished product before it reaches the customer, like inspecting a car off the assembly line or testing software for bugs. So in Toyota's case, the inspection and the testing process, the QC, again, was insufficient to detect the critical flaws in the accelerator pedal and the floor mats before the vehicles were mass produced and sold to millions of customers. So you're dealing with a system under stress in a case like this. Now, there is something called just-in-time, or JIT inventory. Okay, just in time. That is a good way to remember. It's a good term to remember. Toyota itself is famous for the just-in-time, or the JIT. It's an inventory technique where parts arrive from suppliers exactly when they are needed on the assembly line. Now, the pro to this is that it lowers storage costs and waste. But the risk is that if you have a single faulty part, like a bad pedal, accelerator pedal in Toyota's case, from one supplier, can halt all production because there's no backup. So how do you fix this? Okay, well, you've got quality improvement. QI in this case. Okay, we've had QA, we've had QC, and now we've got QI. Okay, well, QI, the quality improvement, is a continuous process of looking for ways to improve. Good companies are never finished with quality. So in Toyota's case, their response, they launched a massive QC, quality control effort, which really involved all those recalls, and it was a huge QA, quality assurance, and QI, quality improvement push. They redesigned the pedals, and they installed a new system called brake override system. Now, this brake override system on the future models that they built, it would automatically cut engine power if both the accelerator and the brake pedals are pressed simultaneously. So that's what that brake override system was. And that was the response that Toyota put in place. Now, there is also something called Six Sigma. Okay, this is an expert level of QI, of that quality improvement. Okay, it's a data-driven method designed to eliminate almost all defects. They're aiming for 99.9999999 going on, perfect. Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about Six Sigma, okay, also known as DMAIC. You'll find out why in a second. Okay, so this cycle is a core of quality improvement. It uses data to find and remove the causes of error, pushing a company, any company, toward near perfection. Okay, so define. Okay, what is the problem? In Toyota's case, it was the pedals are sticking. You measure, you get the data, okay, on the current process. How often is it happening? On which models is it happening? You analyze, you find the root cause of the problem. For Toyota's case, there was a specific plastic supplier. You improve, that's the next one, I. Fix the process to remove the cause. You might change the material, and possibly you might even change your supplier, depending on what the case is. And then finally, control. This is where you monitor the process to keep it fixed. In Toyota's case, they had new quality control tests for all their pedals. And that essentially is what Six Sigma is all about, okay? DMAIC, okay? Define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So here's some quick terms for your quality toolkit, some key terms, okay? So you've got quality management. This is the overall system of trust. Then you've got quality assurance, QA, which is preventing the problems that's in the process. Quality control is next, QC. This is you're finding your problems. This involves the product itself. Quality improvement, QI, is always getting better, continuously improving. Just in time is a key term to know. Again, your parts are arriving just in time, or JIT. And then, of course, finally, Six Sigma. This is using data to be nearly perfect. Now, one thing to remember is that quality is everywhere. So why does quality matter? Now, think local for a second. You see quality or the lack of it every day in whatever you operate. For example, the HEB on North 19th or any grocery store getting fresh produce every morning, JIT, or perhaps a fast food order being correct and hot. That's your quality control. So why does this matter? Well, this involves your future, okay? Because at any job you have, I will emphasize any job you have, whether it's healthcare, whether it's construction, tech, military, you will be involved in quality because your reputation is your quality. Quality is a journey. It is not just a single act. It is a habit. It is a continuous cycle of preventing QA, detecting QC, and improving QI. And that is our lesson on quality management.